On today's episode, Eddie and Webby drop it like it's hot. This is the Eddie and Webby podcast.
And once it gets expired after that, you will be taken under custody by the local cops.
What?
As there are 4 serious allegations pressed on your name at this moment.
Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie, and this is our 7th podcast.
Oh, yeah, episode number 7.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be a lucky episode, everybody. Lucky number 7.
Lucky
Oh, yeah.
Number 7, yeah. Super excited about this. We made it through 1 through 6. Now we're at 7 on our way to 50. And it's going to be a good one. I'm really excited about today's episode.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about it. Feeling really good about it.
So, you guys know we always start off with something very exciting, and that's where Webby reads Twitter comments. What's going on in Twitter, Webby?
Oh, yeah. So actually, Twitter has been blowing up like crazy. After the first 6 podcasts, Twitter just keeps blowing up. Here's a tweet from the folks at Tim and Derek Awesome Sauce. They say, at Eddie and Webby, congrats on all of your success. You guys are truly doing a great job, and we can't wait to see what you do next. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Great job.
Thanks, Tim and Derek.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Tim and Derek.
All right, here's one from Fart Simpson. I don't know why I waste my time watching the Eddie and Webby YouTube channel. The only thing that is even slightly entertaining is the nerd character, and he is only in a few videos.
I mean, I do agree the nerd character is great, but
I'm sure the nerd will be back in future videos. You never know. You just got to watch to find out where the nerd will pop up. You never know. All right, let's just read one more comment from Twitter here. Here's one from Adam Schneider. It says, I'm not kidding when I say the Eddie and Webby YouTube channel is the most entertaining thing I've found on YouTube in quite a while. Eddie and Webby for president. Oh, nice.
nice. You get to be the president. I get to be the VP.
I think we should both be president. Let's just be co-presidents.
Okay.
Can we do that? I mean, why not? Is there a rule against being co-presidents?
This is America. We do what we want.
But yeah, thank you everybody on Twitter for leaving comments. And speaking of Twitter comments, we had a comment on the previous episode where somebody was asking for us to drop some hints about our upcoming music video. And I thought since we are here at lucky episode number 7, that we should give our viewers a little treat and do a world premiere sneak peek of part of our next music video. What do you think?
A little teaser for our audience?
Yeah.
I say we do it.
All right. Let's roll the footage.
Little ditty about pickleball, an addicting game that's fun for all. I really want to be a pickleball star. Some say I can't, they say it's too hard. Oh yeah, pickleball. Of all the racket games, it's the most fun of all.
So there you have it, the world debut sneak peek of our upcoming video. And if you're not familiar with the song that was a parody of, it was a parody of Jack and Diane from John Cougar Mellencamp, but to be about pickleball.
Mm-hmm. I sense a theme here.
Yes. So hopefully everybody likes it, and if you did like it, just wait till the rest of the video comes out because it's going to be a good goof and a spoof.
I like it. I'm super excited for it. Hope you guys enjoy that little teaser. All right. This is the part of the podcast that I get very excited about. As you guys know, we talk about beer, we talk about tech, and we talk about pickleball. And this is the beer section. And Webby, I would love for you to share the beer that we're going to be reviewing today.
Yes, I do have a beer with me as we speak, and I'm excited about this one. I've actually never had it, never even heard of it until Eddie said that we should try it. So this is called Stone Ripper.
Yeah. I'm with you. I had not heard about this beer before today when I picked it up from Total Wine. This is Ripper from Stone Brewing in Escondido, California, which is by San Diego. Before we pour, let's talk a little bit about Stone Brewing. Most craft beer lovers know about Stone. They know a lot about them. They're a fantastic brewery. They were opened in 1996 in San Marcos, California. They currently have locations all across California and Virginia, of all places. I couldn't believe California, Virginia. It seems like a weird combination, but there's got to be something that draws them to Virginia. Something interesting about Stone Brewing is they actually filed a lawsuit just a few months ago in February against Miller Coors. And apparently they're saying that Miller Coors was attempting to co-opt Stone's name after branding revamp of the Keystone beer, where they emphasize the word Stone on the side of the products. So I think they're saying that Miller Coors is trying to capitalize on the Stone name on their Keystone beer. But I don't think anybody is going to be at a beer store that's like, oh, I really would like some Stone. Hey, there's this beer called Keystone. Let me pick it up. I just don't see how they would be confusing the two. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't. I feel like that's a bit of a stretch there.
Yep. But I could see it. You always want to protect your brand. If somebody came out with like Schmetty and Schwebby, I don't know that I would be okay with that. I'd probably say find your own brand. But, hey, what are you going to do?
Yep.
A couple other beers from Stone to note is the Stone IPA, which any IPA lovers will tell you is a great West Coast IPA. And one of my favorite double IPAs out there is Ruination. You ever had that one, Webby?
I have not.
Well, next time we're together, we should get a bottle because it's pretty delish. Yeah. You ready to pour it?
I was born ready.
All right, let's go ahead and pour the beer. While we're doing that, I'm going to talk a little bit. This is kind of a long description from Stone's website, so I'm probably not going to do the whole thing here. Here's what they have to say. When it came to creating Ripper, we drew inspiration from the coastal surf cultures of SoCal and Oz, sourcing classic Cascade from the Pacific Northwest and Australian Galaxy hops. Yes, Australia. We made a beer both lovers of frothy peaks and hoppy green buds will be stoked about. At the same time, we stayed true to our San Diego roots by pushing the hop boundaries of this style. While some might think it lingers on an edge far closer to an IPA, with all the dry hop flavor and aroma, it's actually right in line with the current day interpretation of a West Coast pale. Ours just so happens to have an Aussie accent that's cascading with the juicy amount of grapefruit and passion fruit hoppiness. So veg out or venture out. Either way, rip one open and taste this awesome golden nectar. You gotta love these descriptions that these breweries are putting on these beers, man. It got me pumped up about it. Right?
A ripping swell of juicy hops.
Can you do that in an Australian accent?
Stone Ripper, Australian for beer.
Nice. Honestly, before today, like I said, I hadn't even heard about this beer, so super excited to try it. This falls under BJCP category 18B, which is American Pale Ale. For those of you that care, there's like 1% of our listeners that actually care about that, but it's fun to say.
I care. Dearly.
Thank you. This is 5.7% ABV, so it's on the higher end of the range of this style. It is available year-round, and let's jump into the review. We always start with the appearance. It's a little coppery, golden. It's a little bit darker than I would expect for a typical pale ale, but
Jack the Cat is really interested in this beer, too. He wants to get in on the action.
Nice.
Hello, Jack.
Hey, Jack.
It's almost the color of Jack. It's a little darker than Jack's coat of fur.
Yeah. A little cloudy, which I would expect from a pale ale like this, but yeah, very nice color to it. And let's jump into the aroma. Give it some sniffies.
Yeah, I like that. And when I cracked that can open, I just got a burst of this aroma, and I loved what I was smelling.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I just used like a really fragrant hand soap. So all I smell is hand soap right now. Let me move my hand out there. Wow.
Yeah, I'm loving the smell. It's I smell a little bit of hoppiness, a lot of juiciness, like citrusy, I think.
Yeah, so technically that's coming from the hops, but I think there's a nice malt balance to it, which you're getting a little bit of that sweetness as well. But
You're saying the citrusy smell is coming from the hops?
yeah, yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're definitely going to get that citrusy, especially from having American hops like Cascade. You're going to get some nice citrus notes from it.
If this tastes anywhere as good as it smells, then I think we're in for a treat.
Why don't we just taste this thing, huh?
That sounds good. I'll do that.
Wow. Wow. I don't even know where to begin with this thing. I'm getting so many senses flooding my brain right now with the flavor of this beer.
Yeah, it's it's good. It's interesting and good and unique.
Yeah. This is an extremely unique pale ale. I mean, I'm getting your typical hop flavor, but I'm also getting grapefruit, like a little passion fruit. But then I'm also getting like a hop spiciness, like a real kind of spicy backbone to this thing too. It's in every sip, I feel like it's even more complex. I'm getting more from it.
Yeah, I would say complex is a great term to use for this.
Wow. It's very hard to describe this beer. It's not muddled by any means. It's very complex and each flavor is distinct, but it's hard to put your finger on what you're getting with every sip. You definitely get a lot of that malt backbone to it too, which is nice.
It doesn't have as smooth of a finish as I would like. I don't know if you're getting that or not.
Yeah, that's typical of a West Coast Pale Ale or a West Coast IPA. They're usually a little bit harsher of a finish. They have quite a bit of bitterness as well as hop flavor, which can be a little tough. I'm almost getting like a grassy flavor to it as well. Are you getting that at all?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I would definitely say there's a little bit of grassiness to it.
Yeah.
A little grass monkey, if you will. But I won't.
Oh, yeah. This flavor is unbelievable. I'm very impressed with this beer.
I do enjoy it.
Yeah. We'll touch briefly on the mouthfeel. This is like a very full body pale ale with medium carbonation, so about right where you would expect. Are you getting the same?
Yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of carbonation. Not a lot. But a little bit.
Nice. Well, overall impression, I am very impressed with this beer. It's very complex. It's not what I was expecting at all. Every sip, I feel like I'm getting a new experience with. And ultimately, when it comes down to trying a new beer, that's exactly what you're looking for. So I'm very impressed with this beer, and I would definitely buy it again. What do you think?
Yeah. So I definitely agree with you how it is not anything what I expected it to taste like. I am enjoying it, but I wish it had a smoother finish. I think I would like it a lot more if it had a smoother finish to it. I could see myself buying it again, but I can't say that it's one that I definitely would put at the top of my list to buy again right away.
No, I can respect that. So I feel like this is the first beer that you and I are not totally in alignment on. I feel like the previous 6 reviews we've done, we've been pretty much in alignment. So eventually we had to get to one where we probably didn't totally agree on it.
Yep, and I do believe this is that one. Mm-hmm. Based on the aroma, I expected almost a little lighter and juicier, kind of like an M43 for anybody that's familiar with that style. It's definitely a lot more in your face. Packs a lot more punch. It tickles the taste buds more, if you will. It doesn't have that smooth finish like I mentioned before, but it definitely is a good beer. I would definitely drink this again. I would not be opposed to drinking it. It's just not totally something I would prefer, I think.
It's kind of funny you brought up M43 because that's a New England style IPA, right? Mm-hmm. So you just totally nailed the difference between a West Coast style IPA or pale ale and a New England style IPA. And it sounds like your preference is more of the New England style. So to me, it just sounds like it's a preference selection.
Yeah, I would say so. I love the New England style, and I think we should try to do a New England style in a future podcast.
We should.
This also kind of reminds me of the High-Lie. High-Lie?
Yep.
It reminds me of that a bit, but I feel like the High-Lie had a bit of a smoother finish to where I like the High-Lie a lot better.
Yeah, both of them have Cascade hops in it, which it's also what Bell's Too Hard it has. So you're going to get similar characteristics between all three of those beers that we mentioned.
And it's definitely a good beer. I don't dislike it. I just can't say that it's at the top of my list of things that I would go after.
Cool. Anything else you want to add about the beer?
I think that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
Okay. Well, I think it's your turn to decide whether or not we chug, isn't it? Or is it my turn? I can't remember.
Actually, I think it's your turn. I'm pretty sure I made the decision last time, so I'm going to leave this one up to you, my friend.
Out of all our episodes, I think we've only chosen not to chug one time, and that was the Neapolitan Stout, right?
Yes.
Well,
that is correct.
We got to chug this one, man. There's no way we cannot do it.
Yeah, I think we got to do it.
All right. Do your thing.
Ziggy zuggy, ziggy zuggy, oi, oi, oi. 3, 2, 1, go.
I tell you what, the one thing I don't like about chugging is that the whole rest of the show, I have nothing to sip on.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree with that. I do like having something to sip on throughout the episode.
Maybe we should always have a second one handy, and that way we can sip on it the rest of the time.
Not a bad idea.
And then chug that one at the end. As you guys know, if there's a particular beer that you would like for us to try, and we can get it in our locations, throw it in the comments below. There's a good chance we're going to do it.
Yep. As we've proven in the past, somebody left a comment with a recommendation, and the next episode, we did it.
Yeah.
So, Eddie, one thing I've been kind of curious about, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers have been curious about, is how are things going with your electric skateboard? You've done a couple of videos in the past about it. I haven't really heard much about it from you lately. What's going on with it?
Here's what's going on. About the eDrift UHE71 that I did quite a few videos on, it's dead. And when I mean dead, I mean dead. I've gone through 2 batteries. So eDrift was nice enough that after the first battery died on me and wouldn't take a charge, they did send me a second one. And I do appreciate that. But then the second one died as well. Fortunately, I worked with Amazon. I was able to get a full refund for the board. And I actually took apart both of the batteries, which is just basically a bunch of little individual cells. And over the half the cells were dead. So I think the batteries were just built very poorly and with bad cells, and they weren't taking a charge. I'm going to try rebuilding the batteries with good cells and see if I can get the board working again. But as I mentioned, Amazon did give me a full refund, which I'm excited about. And so what I did is I used the money I got from the refund and I bought a new board. And I have it right here with me. This is the B10X all-terrain skateboard by Atom Boards, Atom Electric.
Nice.
Yeah. I've only been able to use it a little bit so far because it's actually been really crappy weather down here in Florida the last couple weeks. It's been incredibly rainy, like all day long type of rain, which is very unusual. So I haven't had much chance to use it yet. But I do have some initial reactions that I would like to be able to share with you. Now, it is slower than my eDrift, and it has a lot less range on a charge. I think I can only get like 6 to 7 miles per charge on this new board versus the eDrift. The wheels are a little smaller on it, which makes it a little bit less comfortable of a ride, and there are all-terrain wheels on it, so it almost like vibrates or resonates underneath your feet when you're riding it on pavement. They vibrate a little bit, but It is significantly lighter than the E-Drift board. The E-Drift one was 50 pounds, so the thing was a tank. It was hard to carry around. It wasn't portable at all. This guy here is only 14 pounds. So I could see it being a much more effective electric skateboard, if you want to be able to take it around town or whatnot. So I'm super excited about that. In fact, that Webby and I are doing that pickleball tournament in Grand Rapids in July. Well, I'm actually going to be staying in Grand Rapids for a significant amount of time and kind of living the downtown lifestyle. And I'm actually curious to see if I can make this thing my primary mode of transportation while downtown.
Oh, nice.
I'm not a young guy anymore, so I'm a little worried about it. But in theory, almost everywhere that I need to go is within a mile. So to get in my car and drive doesn't seem practical. I can always walk, and that's a good way to do it. It's good exercise, and it's only a mile or two no matter where I have to go. But I thought I might give the electric skateboard a try. And the reason I like this one better than the E-Drift is because it's only 14 pounds. So if I have to carry it for a little bit, I got to bring it into a brewery or a restaurant. It's not that big of a deal. Whereas lugging 50 pounds around is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I think you should do it. I really think you should go for it. And if you don't, then I think you're a big pansy.
Yeah,
so
well,
just throwing that out there.
I agree.
Can we expect a video review of this skateboard?
I've had it on my agenda 3 times in the last 2 weeks to do a full review. And every single time it has been raining nonstop all day. So I haven't been able to get to it. But yes, the Eddie and Webby listeners, you guys can expect a full review of this board coming up in the very near future.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what's going on with my electric skateboard situation.
All right, well, thanks for filling us in, because I know I was curious. I'm sure a lot of our viewers were curious to see how things were going with it.
Yeah, cool.
But I think it's time to get to our next segment, which is covering a subject matter that is very near and dear to both of our hearts, and that is the wonderful world of pickleball.
Oh, yeah, pickleball. Love talking pickleball.
So as you mentioned a little bit earlier, we have a pickleball tournament coming up that we are both competing in together in the men's doubles division in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And we got a chance to play together a few weeks ago, and we did a little video. In fact, if you click right around there, probably right about there, you can see that video. And I've watched it a few times. I've reviewed the footage just to see how we did, what we did wrong, what we did right. And that's what I'd like to talk about today. Like, what do we need to do better than how we did in that video?
Yeah, I totally agree. I've done the same thing as you, Webby. I've been looking at that video a lot. In some ways, watching it, I feel much better about our abilities. And then in other ways, I do feel like there's some rooms for improvement. So what's the first thing that you think that we could do to set us up for success in that pickleball tournament?
So what I feel like, the thing that really stood out to me that we both did wrong is we popped a lot of balls up to set the other team up for slamming it right back at us. And I feel like most of the points that we lost were because of that fact. And it was both of us. I feel like we both did it about an even amount. The ball came to us, we hit it, but we popped it up right in the sweet spot to where they could just slam it right back at us. So I feel like if we can do better at hitting the ball lower and not giving them the chance to slam it, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. We will definitely do better than we did in that video.
Did you notice that it was at a certain point in the game usually, or the third shot, or was it really any time in the game?
I feel like it happened various times of the game. I didn't think that it was at the exact same spot in a rally. So, yeah, there were times where I feel like even our return popped up a little higher than it should have, the serve return. Sometimes it was the third shot. So I feel like we were kind of all over the place with it. Overall, though, I thought we did do pretty good together, but that was one thing that definitely stood out to me. Mm-hmm. What about you? Did you notice anything that you think we should work on?
Yeah, there's a few things. One thing is communication, right? I think as players start to play with each other, they start to feel each other out. And to me, the best way to kind of advance quickly in that partnership is communication. So even if it's obvious, if you got it, say you got it. If you see the other person running after a ball that you know is going out, scream no or scream out, whatever that language is. Just make sure that you're constantly communicating and not be afraid to over communicate as well. I think some people are a little hesitant to, be shouting stuff at their partner.
Yeah, for sure. Communication is definitely key when you're doing doubles play. So yeah, if I think I've got it, I need to say mine or something. Or if I think you should get it, I'll say yours. And if I think it's going out, what I've learned that a lot of people say is bounce it. That way, like, keep an eye on it. Like, let it bounce, but be prepared to hit it just in case it lands inbounds. So that's something that I don't usually say. I don't usually say bounce it, but that's something that I see that other people do that I think would be very beneficial.
So like if somebody gives you a lob and it's going high and you think it might land, you can just call your partner and say, hey, bounce it. And that's their command to let it go, but be prepared to run back to hit it.
Yeah, that's their way of saying where they think it's out, but not 100% going to be out. So let it bounce, see what happens. But in case it does land in, just be prepared to hit it back.
I like that. I like that a lot. We should try that.
Yes, definitely.
What else you got?
So another thing that I still need to improve on my end is making sure that I'm up at the kitchen line, at the no volley zone, if you will. Because I noticed a lot of times in the video, they were kind of pushing us back, doing things that made us hesitant to go up to the line. And we definitely need to try to get back up to that line and stay at the line if we can. That will help us out greatly. Because once they have us pushed back to the back, they've got us exactly where they want us.
Yep.
And they've got control of the game. So we need to try to get up to the line and stay at the line if we can.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think in that match, we got pushed back a lot. Part of it had to do with the fact that one of our opponents would just absolutely crush the ball right at us anytime that we popped it up slightly. And
Yep.
I think your normal human reaction is to like go back for cover. But
Right.
I've been hit by the pickleball quite a few times now, and it really doesn't hurt that bad. So I agree with you. I think if we just can remind each other to stay at the line, or even if we see the person going back, say, hey, stay in, something like that, it would probably help set us up for success.
Yeah. And now I was playing earlier this morning with some really good players, and they said if you pop it up to where you know they're going to slam it, you do actually need to go back because the chance of you being able to return it up at the line is not very good. Mm-hmm. So it's two things we got to work on. We got to make sure we don't pop it up to give them the chance to slam it. And then if we can do that, then we can stay up at the line more often. And I think if we can do those two things, we're going to be in real good shape.
Well, there's only one other thing that I noticed, and that was how much of the court the person in the forehand position covers versus the person in the backhand. So I'm hoping that before we play in our tournament, you and I can actually go and kind of stand on the court together and take a look and draw those imaginary lines, because I feel like the backhand person was probably riding that line a little bit too much and didn't give the forehand person enough room in order to be able to make sure that they had proper coverage of the court. You talk to different people, and some of them say it's 60-40, but some of them even say it's 70-30. 70% of the court is covered by forehand and 30 is backhand. So I think you and I just need to find out what we're comfortable with, draw those imaginary lines, and then make sure that we're holding each other accountable to not encroaching on each other's space as we're playing.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. That's definitely a great way to do it. But yeah, definitely whoever's got the forehand should be covering the line and over into the other person's side at least a bit. So yeah, the 60-40 sounds good. The 70-30, I feel like that might be stretching it a little bit, but even still, I do feel like that would probably be more effective than when the backhand person tries going after it.
Yeah, I agree. Anything else that you want to talk about?
No, that pretty much covers everything that I noticed from the video. So I think we just keep reviewing that footage, taking notes, and implementing it. Since you and I can't play together anymore until the tournament, we'll just try to implement that stuff when we play with other people before that point, because I know we both play quite a bit, at least once a week. Mm-hmm. And as long as we can implement it, even when we're not playing together, I think it will help us improve.
I agree. I mean, ultimately, we just want to suck less.
Exactly. Sucking less will help us improve a lot.
For sure. Good. Well, that was a good conversation. I do appreciate that you and I can both be so open and honest with each other and giving each other feedback and talking about best practices. I think ultimately that's going to give us an advantage in the tournament, is being able to be that open with each other.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Cool. Well, I think that's the show. What do you think?
Yeah, I do believe we covered everything we needed to. I do want to give a little bit of a teaser for something that's upcoming.
Tease it.
In a future podcast, in the very near future, we are going to have a historic moment for the Eddie and Webby podcast. We are going to have our first guest.
What?
Yep. And that's really all I can say about it right now. I can't really tell you much more other than we will have our first guest. It's going to be very exciting. It's going to be a very new experience for us. I'm not sure if we even know how to handle having a guest on this podcast, but we're going to figure it out.
Yeah, I think we'll figure it out, but our attorneys advised us not to talk about it yet. We still need to nail down some of the arrangements and whatnot. So all we can tell you is that we got some special guests coming.
Yep, we got to dot those T's and cross those I's before we can make anything official.
And dot the lowercase j's as well.
Yes, can't forget those lowercase j's.
Never. They're always forgotten. Cool. Well, thank you very much. This is episode number 7, which means that we expect there's 7 of you still watching or listening out there, and we appreciate you. The 7 people that are left, we really appreciate it.
Very much. We appreciate you very, very much.
More than you know. As always, we love to hear feedback. Go ahead and throw it in the comments. You can always follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Eddie and Webby. And I think that's it. What do you think?
I think so. I think that's it.
All right. Well, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya. Did you notice that it was at a certain point in the game usually? Did you?